base. I'm out here with the car today, thinking about some of the things I talked about on a previous video about some of the modifications that I think I need to do since racing the vehicle a while back. I want to kind of actually do a little show and tell here, some of the things I want to improve on the car. And so without further ado, one of the first things that I know that I can do, because again, everything that you're doing to the car is based on wherever the rules happen to be. So again, within my racing group, which is Touring 1 at SSCA, you know, I can do things like modify the size of the wheels and tires. And so there's actually a rule around the wheels for Touring 1 that the front wheels can't be any wider than 11 inches. I've got 10-inch wheels in the front here. And in the back, they can't be any wider than 13 inches. And I've got 11s on the back. And so, again, you know, first time getting involved in this and not knowing what my car can actually handle as far as width of wheels and so forth, there's not a lot of information out there about how wide a wheel you can put on a Mustang. And the reason for that is because it varies. It varies. It really does. It varies based on what you're going to do with that wheel, that suspension setup. And so based on if you're going to lower the car, if you're going to push the wheels and tires out closer to the edge of the fender, those sorts of things can modify how big a wheel and tire you can actually put on the car. And so it's unlimited amount of possibilities there. So one of the things I'm going to do here is I'm going to widen the wheels. So I got 11s in back and I got 10s in front. With the 10s in front, I can go one more inch wider to 11 because I need more grip. And right now the tires that I have on this car, there's no limitation on the width of tire, okay? But there is on the wheels. So right now on this front tire, again, these are Toyo R888s, all right? I have a 275/35 ZR19. Now, as far as the limits on the wheels is, you can't put no larger a wheel than 19s on your race car. And on the front, no wider than 11. So, what I want to do is actually move the backs to the front, the wheels. The tires on this, again, these are Toyo R888Rs, okay? And these are 11-inch wheels on here. These are 305/30 ZR19s on here. So what I want to do is I want to take these wheels, move them to the front, and then put 325s on them. So I want 325s on the front, and then I'm going to basically go get a larger tire. We try to fit a 12-inch in here and go with a 355 in the rear. So that's what I plan on doing. I'm going to get some new tires anyway. I've driven on these quite a bit before we raced, and then after racing, you know, they're worn. So I'm going to get some new tires anyway, so that was already part of the plan. All right? One of the other things I'm going to do with this car is, and I try to do this video this way so you can really tell the height of the car, okay, is you can lessen the height of the car. You can lessen down to as much as 3 inches from the ground. So here I have my measuring tape, and what we're going to do here is see just how tall this car is as far as distance from the ground. So in the rear here, it's 6 inches. 6 inches in the rear. So I can lessen that down 3 inches in the rear already. And then the front here is 4.5 inches tall. So I can lessen again the front 1.5 inches. And then here where the front spoiler is, it's back up to 6 inches. Now you can tell the way this car is made that Ford purposely has the front spoiler or front part of the car higher. That's That's obviously to be able for you to park it next to a normal curb, and so forth. That's, you know, or be able to enter a, you know, angled driveway or anything like that. That's why this part is actually taller than this. Okay, so if I can get this down lower, and I can get this down lower by adding, one of the other things I'm going to do is actually add a front splitter to the car. So plan on adding a front splitter. That's going to help lower the front a little bit more as far as, again, the distance between the ground and the front of the car. And we want that because the splitter is going to do exactly what it says. It's going to split. It's going to split the air and push less air from coming underneath the car and pushing more air to go around the car or over top the car. Okay? So we want that air, when it comes and hits the front of this car when I'm driving, all right, we want that air to split and go over the top of the car or around the car. We don't want so much air going underneath the car. So that splitter is going to help us do that. So that's the other thing I'm going to add. One of the other things I'm going to do is I'm going to change the camber some more on these tires, on these wheels. So I have 1.9 negative camber on the rears. I have 2.5 negative camber on the fronts. I'm going to try to leave the negative 2.5 right now on the fronts, but I'm going to add more camber to the rear. I'm going to add more camber to the rear, especially when I get those bigger tires, bigger wheels for the back. We shouldn't have a problem with clearance. So we're going to do that. And as I do that, though, one of the things I was interested in is, you know, how you can tell that you're getting perfect grip or tire wear across your suspension setup is to have one of these. This is a infrared thermometer. And what it does is I can easily just turn it on by clicking just like that, and it's on. And I can focus the laser anywhere I want on any surface, and it gives me a reading, just like that. And so what you do is, when you run the car on the track, you then take measurement readings. You turn the wheel of the car, the front wheels. Generally, you're doing this on the front wheels, but you can obviously do it on the rear tires as well. And then you do a reading on the outside edge, on the mid part of the tire, and on the inside edge. And based off of those temperature readings, you can tell how much more the tire is being used across the overall surface of the tire tread. So that's going to tell you if you got too much, maybe possibly too much toe, maybe possibly too much camber, that you're not really effectively utilizing the fullness of the tire as you're going through the track. So that's what this is for. And this is going to be a great tool for me in the future. So again, I'm going to add more camber. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure, because as I read more about toe and so forth, again, one of the concerns that I had out there on the track was that I was pushing too much, and I had understeer in the corners. And so one of the things to help negate that effect, because as you're pushing into those corners, it forces you to kind of slow down because you're afraid that you're going to go off the track. I don't want to slow down. I want to go fast around those corners. I got to beat those Porsches. And so one of the things I'm going to do here is I'm going to change the toe settings on my front and rear. Okay? And so I'm going to do toe in on the rears. We talked about this in a previous video. And I'm going to do toe out on the fronts. Okay? And this is going to be a thing we got to play with it. You know, we're going to have to try a couple settings here and see which one works best. Okay? And so that toe out is going to help my tires as they, again, as you have, your tires are straight ahead, right? So toe in means that they're actually forced to be towed in, all right? Towed out means they're actually forced to have their toes, in a sense, their angles out. And what happens is when you go around that curve, that turn, okay, when you're turning, okay, those outer wheels, right, the outer wheel on that turn, all right, will still be just a little bit wide. And the reason for that is because the outside tire is wider, okay, and the inside tire, right, as you're going around that turn, is going to be shorter because it's a tighter turn, right? It's going to be making a tighter turn. That's what your inside wheel is going to be doing. And so that's what I'm going to be doing, is making sure that the toes are set correctly on this car. One other thing I'm going to do with this car is I'm going to play with this rear wing. I love the ring. I think it works. I don't know how much it works. But I'm going to start playing with it to see if I can get a greater effect of downforce. So I'm going to start, turning it up where, right, it's not flat. I mean, it is turned up a little bit right now, but I'm going to turn it up more. Actually, I have this settings back here where I can actually unloosen them and then make this go up further and try to get more aero pushing down on the rear of the rear tires. With the front splitter, I'm going to get more aero to push more on the front tires. And speaking of that, I'm also going to play with the pressures of the tires, tire pressures. Again, I need as much grip as possible going around these corners. And it's possible that I may have too much air in these tires. And so I think I may start at maybe 28 PSI and work my way up and down from there. And when I was racing, I had them, I think, at 31 or something. So, and as you know, when your tires heat up, the air pressure also goes up. So I probably was racing at 35, when I was actually going around the track. Starting off at 31 and the tires heated up, it probably got to about 34, 35. I'm going to start lower, maybe around 28. If you have any suggestions on air pressures, please share that with me as well in the comments below. One of the other things I want to do is also fool around with the suspension. So the front suspension, I want to make it softer. Again, I need more grip, as much grip as I possibly can out of the front of the vehicle. I've got plenty of power, okay? I'm going to do some modifications, talked about this before, I want to do and give me some more power in the engine. But my number one concern right now is more grip in front. But in doing that, I also want to improve the brakes in back too. So as you can tell here, again, we've got the 6-piston Brembos that come automatically with the performance pack with the Mustang GT that you buy that version of it. So I don't need to change out the front calipers. I mean, I can put a whole entire racing package, brake package on here. I'm not going to do that yet. That's very expensive. The one I want to get is like $8,000 for both sets, front and rear. But I'm not going to take that step yet. I'm looking for sponsors. So, but I've changed out the rotors. I've got the Bayer Radispeed Plus rotors, and I've got the DTC 70 Hawk racing pads. Well, you know what? I'm going to do the same thing in the rear. I'm going to change these out for Bayer Radispeed Plus rotors, and then the Hawk, I'm going to get the DTC 30 rear racing pads for this car. And so I may do 60. I may do DTC 60, but at least a minimum DTC 30 racing pads from Hawk put on the rears. So I want to help balance out the braking of this car too. Now I'm very happy with the braking, but if I can get just a little bit better braking, then I can hit those corners even faster, right? Fast you can go into a corner, hit brake hard, get back on the throttle, fast back out, right? So I want to thank everybody again for subscribing to this channel, for watching these videos. I hope that you're getting as much out of it as I am in making them. I'm having a time of my life with this project, and I just want to encourage you to go and take the step as well, and you build your own race car. It doesn't have to be a road racer like mine, but it can be any type of race car that you like, but it's your dream, and I want you to make your dreams come true. All right, take care and hit the subscribe button. Thanks so much.